Hey everyone, Rick here, and it is time for another unboxing. Now this is going to be similar to my Pathfinder Battles Rusty Dragon Inn unboxing. So if you haven't seen that one, go check that out. But what we have here today is a newly released pre-painted miniature set from Wizkids, and it is the Dungeons and Dragons Icons of the Realms Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I got a case of these bad boys, and a case comes with 32 booster packs. They're packaged 8 booster packs to what they call a brick. And I believe each of these booster packs has 4 figures apiece. Again, they are pre-painted, so I am all about that. But first of all, let's take a look at this. This is the case incentive, though some stores seem to actually sell this even if you don't pick up a case. But of course, I had to. This is Hallister's Lab pre-painted kind of dungeon scenery set. So I'm not going to unbox this right now, only because you can basically see everything that comes in it right through the transparent front window, which is always nice. I like when they do that. But this is really cool because it has tables and stacks of tomes, a wardrobe, shelves, and then all sorts of other arcane things. One of my favorite things is this gigantic golem looking guy. Also, I love all these like corpses that it comes with as well. So that is that. I am truly excited about that, but this is what we are here for. So this is going to be a 4-part video where I am going to open 1 brick per video. So let's pull out the first brick. Now, if you saw my Rusty Dragon Inn unboxing, you will know, I just want to preface this by saying I am a noob to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. In fact, I just started participating in my first ever Dungeons and Dragons campaign. We just finished session 2 last Sunday. So, in other words, if there's any named characters in this set, forgive me if I mispronounce their names, if I simply don't know who they are. But let's dive in. So, a typical booster pack of this is going to be one of these nice big chunky boxes. I hope I get that guy. I'm sure he's a rare because in these are blind, so you don't know what you're going to get, but there are a lot of really cool looking figures in here. I did check out the figure list, and so there are some figures that I am really hoping to get. Like, I would love to get some of these hags. They look so cool. But also, there's some like generic thugs and bandits and guards and stuff. You know, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I am all about the generic characters. So we are hoping for some things. I'll call them out if I do find them, but let's see what we've got in pack number 1. These are always packaged really well. I mean, look how nice, thick, and chunky this is. So first of all, we have a little advertisement because there is going to be another. I believe this is going to be the 6th D&D adventure game, which I love. I have the previous 5, and as they did in the last one, Tomb of Annihilation, there is both an unpainted and a pre-painted version. So yes, I have already pre-ordered that. It says March, but I've been hearing potentially April. So we'll find out. And then just some more advertisements on the back of that. So I'm just going over this little sheet once. I probably won't again. And then each of the figures, what is there? Typically 1 large figure and then 3 little ones. So we'll take a look at the little ones in just a second, but let's take a look at this gigantic guy. So awesome. Again, pre-painted. So this is how it comes right out of the package. We have a Behir. How sweet is that? I have no clue what this guy is. It looks like something you would not want to find crawling up from your toilet drain to frighten you, but I don't know why that was the first location that I thought you might find one of these guys, but it looks like it's kind of like a rat centipede with horns. It is absolutely grotesque, but that is our figure number 1. Very cool. All right, so the first of our little guys is going to be a human paladin. Now, this specifically is a human paladin of the Oath of Vengeance. So if that is specifically a character you were after, that is what it looks like. Now, guys, look at, like, the eyes. See, when I did a little tiny bit of miniature painting on my own, the eyes were always a trouble spot. But you can actually see pretty nice detailed eyes on this guy, but I am just loving the look of this figure in general. Look at that flowing cape, look at the armor, the sword, and the sword really is in good shape. You know, a lot of times when you pull out these plastic figures, their weapons might be bent or whatnot, but no, this guy's looking really good. I am super stoked about this guy, the human paladin of the Oath of Vengeance. That is quite the oath. All right, next up we have a Tiefling Battlemaster. That is pretty cool because, in fact, one of the characters in my Dungeons & Dragons campaign is a Tiefling, though she is a bard. So, but look at this nice shield work on this guy. Nice chainmail armor, it looks like. Again, the sword is really in good shape. I am loving the quality of these figures. They feel good. They're nice and sturdy. The bases lay flat on the table, which is always a nice thing. So that is figure number 2, Tiefling Battlemaster. Very cool. All right, last figure of this first pack is some kind of creepy jellyfish looking thing. Look at that. Look at the little blue dotted eyes. What is this? This is a Flumph. Plain and simple. This is number 1 of the set as well. Flumph. And it's kind of has a transparent look with some blue detailing. But seriously, this looks like a jellyfish. Very cool. That is our first pack. We are already 1/8 of the way done. We are cruising into pack number 2. What are we going to have this time? Again, 1 large figure and 3 smaller figures. Although in my Rusty Dragon Inn unboxing, there were some packs that had a few more. So again, little advertisement here. Looks like, yep, 3 figures. And then this thing. Holy cow, this is a Scaladar. This is a armored scorpion shooting lightning from its stinger. Unbelievable. Would you want to come across one of these crawling across your living room floor? I don't think so. So you can imagine one that is proportionally big like this. That is absolutely frightening, but look how cool that looks. The sculpt itself is awesome. Some people, obviously these figures, I believe, probably all come in unpainted as well. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure you can probably find one. And people just go crazy with the paint schemes. This is just obviously your generic kind of metal finish with that transparent blue lightning looking energy, but that guy is frightening and oh so cool. So let's go on to figure number 2 of pack number 2. It's a little guy. Who is it? Or girl? It is a grung. Look at this. How adorable is that? It is like a little frog with potentially a little dagger made out of what I can assume maybe bone. But look at that little guy. Oh my gosh, he is absolutely adorable. The sculpt is perfect. The paint job is wonderful. Awesome. That is my first grung. That's a milestone when you pull your first grung out of a pack, right? Isn't that something people keep track of? All right, next up is a flesh golem, and this just looks kind of like me. Oh my gosh, what is happening here? Like, I didn't know they were personalizing these miniatures. But anyway, so it looks like this is an amalgamation of probably dug up corpses or, recently deceased poor souls that have been put together into this grotesque figure that bears a striking resemblance to what I see in the mirror each morning. But if you can see his eye, like the detailing just looks fantastic. He has like a torn kind of a cloth around his waist. Absolutely fantastic. That is a really nice looking left leg on him, though. Man, I feel sorry for the adventurer who lost that. That is a flesh golem. All right, folks, this is the final figure of the pack number 2, and this is a totally translucent, transparent guy. And in fact, look at this. Oh gosh, I am just absolutely destroying this as I'm trying to get it out of the bubble wrap. Now, this is actually really cool. Why? Because if you remember on the back of this is this guy, but in a translucent form. If I remember right, the translucent ones were, I think, maybe more rare than some of the other ones. I know some people weren't a big fan of that. But this is the invisible form of Halaster Black Cloak. So yes, if you recall, this is Halaster's lab. In fact, I believe the bearded gentleman on all these booster packs, I believe, is Halaster. And so that is just awesome. This is his invisible form. So obviously he has conjured up some kind of spell, sword surrounding him. He is about to shoot them out at somebody. But how cool is that? So the sculpt is awesome, and it is simply his invisible form. Very cool. And the fact that you can remove this, I was afraid I broke it off, but no, it actually just slides under there. So you can just have good old Halaster right there, standing tall, or hey, he's about ready to cast some doom, and that is awesome. All right, we are going into pack number 3. We are 12 minutes into the video. I'd like, if at all possible, to keep this under a half hour. So let's see if we can meet that goal. All right, pack number 3. Again, there's just a little ad in the box, and then we have this, which is really bizarre. Oh my gosh, it's like a scorpion, but mixed with something. This is a Muriel. Not Muriel, who works down at the flower shop, you know, at the corner of 5th and Western. But no, this is Muriel, the scorpion, like grasshopper, beetle, gorilla looking guy. Big sword, just absolutely frightening. That is, to be honest, terrifying. Oh my gosh. That is Muriel. All right. What else we got in here? Ooh, look at this guy. This is really cool. My gosh, what is that face? It is like a wolf. It is specifically, officially, it's a flind. A flind with a flail. Try to say that 5 times fast. You have like skulls or faces on the end of that whippish flail looking thing, and he has some, looks like some dreads and some armor, and he is furry and creepy looking. That is pretty cool, and he's actually pretty tall too if you like compare him to a normal adventurer. So that is awesome. All right, next up we have someone who looks, you know, as far as I can tell through bubble wrap, looks like he might be pretty cool. It is a Necromancer. Oh man, that is awesome. And why? Because look at that. Look at that expression on his face. Look at that like orb or, you know, crystal ball he's holding, plus some arcane magics in his right hand. You can tell he's summoning something because his cloak is going nuts. That is a Necromancer. Awesome. All right, final figure of pack number 3 is another little tiny thing. What in the world? Okay, this is, simply put, a flying sword. So you can see kind of, you know, some transparent energy or wind or whatever that is making this sword shoot toward an unsuspecting opponent. It's almost as if Hallister, you could use this maybe as one of his swords that he is shooting out at someone. Very cool. Very cool. And we are moving on to pack number 4. What is it gonna be? We are already making a total mess, but I will clean that up between each take for sure. Oh my gosh, this thing is grotesque. Gigantic froghemoth, like a behemoth, but a froghemoth. Awesome, because that is a frog behemoth if I've ever seen one. 3 eyes. Yeah, he's going to be licking up some flies with that tongue, probably some other things too, because look at this. It is just a hefty figure. That is a lot of, plastic or whatever they use to mold these guys. But look at that gigantic mouth, just overall a fantastic large beast. Can you imagine seeing that coming at you? Good Lord. Okay, we are moving on to another little tiny thing. Oh my gosh, this is probably the smallest yet. This is an Intellect Devourer. Wow. Okay, so you can imagine. I mean, you see, this guy is probably on the ceiling right above you as you are walking through, and then it'll drop right down on you and start sucking out your intelligence. Man, that is frightening. That is creepy. Hopefully I can get a good focus on this little 4-legged guy. It looks like a brain with like 4 limbs. That is creepy, and that is an Intellect Devourer. All right, next up we have some guy who's dual wielding blades. It is a veteran leader. All right, so if you need some assistance, the veteran leader can come to your aid. Again, very cool pose. Excellent paint on him. 2 blades. And he just looks like one cool character. Man, he just looks like he had a couple brews before the adventure. All right, next up, this is the last figure of pack number 4, and then we're halfway through this brick. And it is a little Sherlock Holmes looking guy. It is a gnome inquisitive. All right, yeah, he or she, I should say, definitely looks pretty inquisitive with, I don't know what that is, like a little stick or something, and a magnifying glass. And of course, you can't go out without your inquisitive hat and backpack. But that's a little gnome looking for clues. Awesome. All right, we are on to pack number 5 of 8. We are at almost 18 minutes, so I think I might meet my goal of under a half hour. Okay, here we go. No duplicates so far, but of course I probably just jinxed myself. All right, so the big figure first is this gigantic golem that is like shooting flames. It is a Trobriand, and it is powering up some fire shots to shoot right at you. Fireballs for everybody. Looks like some carvings in the armor. Just overall a very cool looking character. Awesome. All right, next up, first of our 3 little guys that comes in this. Little by comparison, of course. We have a Revenant. All right. Yeah, he looks like he's probably part of a cult or something. In fact, he has kind of a nice outfit on. He has a flowing green cape. Look at that hairdo. Man, he is ready to go out on the town. All right, that's the Revenant. Next up, we have a guy with a huge axe. This is simply put, a Berserker. Man, does he look like he is berserk? I'd say so. So he has kind of a lot of fur on him with some armor. Of course, he has that gigantic 2-bladed, dual-bladed axe. Very cool. Loving that. Love the detailing on the axe too, that there's like some cutouts in there. So that is very, very cool. That is the Berserker. And last for pack number 5 is... who is it? I'm dying with anticipation. It is the Elf Cleric of the... I have no idea. Grave, I believe that says. Elf Cleric of the Grave. So you can see, man, he or she, whatever, has all sorts of little odds and ends strapped to his outfit. He has a guitar or similarly shaped instrument with a different fantasy name. And kind of like a spearish, javelin-y looking thing. So that is an Elf Cleric of the Grave. Okay, let's move on. What is next? We are in pack number 6. Lucky number 6. Oh, wait, no, that's lucky number 7. Well, we might still be lucky. Well, we are, because look at this. This is a Minotaur Skeleton. Awesome. I would love, I actually would love to get duplicates of this guy. Just have a horde of these gigantic, and when I say gigantic, I mean, you can see in comparison just how much bigger he is than a regular figure. And he has a huge warhammer. I think there are actually a couple different poses of this guy, maybe with a different weapon. So instead of a hammer, he might have something else. But that is a Minotaur Skeleton. You can see he's been brought back to life with those glowing green eyes, barely any armor on him, just scraps of maybe what he had in life, and a huge warhammer. That is a Minotaur Skeleton. Next up, we have something kind of big-ish for one of these littler guys. Look at that. That is too cool. This is a shadow, because I was going to say it looks like an oil slick come to life. Imagine you're in a parking lot of your local grocery store and one of those, oil stains on the concrete just springs to life. Holy cow. Because it's a kind of an oily, translucent, clear, blackish thing, but that's a shadow. Actually, that's scarier than an oil slick. Imagine your shadow as you're walking through a dungeon springs up. Oh my gosh, that would be frightening. So that is really terrifying. You can kind of see a face on him and of course hands. So yep, that is a shadow, folks. All right, next up we have another little person. And in fact, it is a Tressym, I shall say, if that is correct. It looks like a little cat or a little fox with eagle wings or something similar to that, like a little baby griffin. No, I don't know. But it is very cool. Just a little tiny guy, but still has a lot of detail on him with, different shades of colors on the wings, but overall, a pretty nifty little figure. Again, some of these little guys I would not mind having multiples of. Next up, folks, this is one of the ones I would love to have a bunch of, because this is a thug leader. There you see him with his crossbow, just kind of a generic kind of guy. Awesome. Big cloak. There are a lot of capes in this line so far, which I am loving. But you can see his eyes, his facial hair, his expression. And yeah, that is just awesome. Love to get some more of this guy. All right, we are on to pack number 7. Closing in on finishing out this brick, which would be fantastic. So far, I am thoroughly pleased with everything I've got. I have no clue the rarity of any of this stuff, so don't know if I've gotten lucky or not. Oh my gosh. Holy cow, look how big this is. Even next to the frog behemoth, this thing is terrifying. This thing is gigantic. Look at it next to the Intellect Devourer. It is absolutely massive. Look at these claws. Oh my gosh. That is sharp. And look at that expression. Oh my gosh, he is terrifying. I haven't even looked at his name yet. Goristro. Now, I have to imagine Goristro is a named beast, potentially. I don't know. But he is really cool. Gauntlets, very little in the way of armor, but I mean, look how huge he is. Look at those horns. That guy, his hoof feet. That is fantastic. That is awesome. All right, we are moving on, and let's take a look at this. It is another Revenant, but similar to, I think, some of the other figures in this, it is different. I like the different poses. This one has like a noose in his hand, a bit of rope, and a slightly different paint scheme. And of course, that same looking stylish hair. And that is just awesome. Love when they have multiple color schemes of the same figure. That's awesome. So that's another Revenant. Okay, next up, we have some kind of sludge that came to life. It is a gray ooze, and that's exactly what it is. It is gray, and it is an ooze, and it is coming for you with that, I don't even know how to describe that. I don't know if it has a beginning or an end, but it is something you could very well encounter underground. Oh, and look who we have here who decided to join us. And this comes off of him too. This is Astir, Black Cloak himself in his non-invisible form. Let's take a look at him. So this is what he looks like. Yeah, and I'd say if you compare him to his image, I believe that is who that is. That's right. That's awesome. This is the guy himself who's causing all this trouble. Love his staff. It's like a dual-headed dragon staff. You can tell this guy has seen some things. And this time, his sword spell that he is casting is translucent blue and has like these runes on the blades of the swords. And again, you can just equip that right into the back of him. This one will need some TLC to get those swords kind of bent back, but that is very cool. That's Astir Black Cloak, folks, and we still have one pack left. Oh my gosh, I have 3 minutes. Can we make this happen? Let's find out. All right, we have, oh my gosh, this I think is my first Beholder. A Beholder zombie. Here you go. Look at that devilish. So Beholders are frightening enough, let alone when you have a zombie Beholder. Look how gross it looks with that paint scheme. And it looks all slimy and decaying. That is awesome. And yeah, that actually is my very first Beholder miniature. All right, next up is a veteran. So we had the veteran leader, but now we have one of the veterans, one of the guards. Flowing cape, excellent sword, awesome pose. You can see her eyes. Look at that face. That face looks fantastic. That is a veteran. And then here, I believe, is our very first identical duplicate. It is another shadow. You have a pair of frightening shadows who look like they could probably arm wrestle to the shadowy end. All right, last but not least is what I said right away, the hag. We have our first hag. Look at her. Look at those lengthy arms. That's creepy. Yes, she is a Behur hag. That is awesome. Skulls dangling from her hag-like attire, big old staff, and she looks frightening, and the dry brushing on her looks awesome. So that is the end of brick number 1. We have, and I'll do a better recap at the very end, but we have a ton of figures here. This is fantastic. Folks, stay tuned for the next brick unboxing where we open 8 more of these packs. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.